chapter 3. So far, we have discussed two types of data structure, tuple and list. Tuple is immutable. It can have any data type in it, but you cannot change anything unless the element itself is a mutable object. Suppose if a tuple has a list inside it, then that list is mutable. Okay. But nothing else is mutable. And then we have list, and I think that's where we stopped. Okay, the next data structure is called the dictionary. Dictionary is perhaps the most versatile, flexible data type there is. Okay. So dictionary has two things: a key, and then attached to that key is a value. So the value of a dictionary can be accessed through the key. So it's a pair. Dictionary is a collection of key colon value pairs. So it can have any number of those elements. So each element is a pair: key colon the value itself. And it is created by, okay, you can create it in two different ways. You can create it by using curly braces, and then inside the curly braces you have to provide, each element is a pair of key and value. So key colon value, comma key colon value, comma key colon value, and as long as you enclose all of these with a pair of curly braces, then what you have is a dictionary. Or you can use the dict function. So if you have a dict function, then you have to provide the key and the value. Then it will take the key and the value and convert it into a dictionary. Okay. There is a small problem with you need to understand how that works, and we'll talk about that when we get there. Okay, so we create by using curly braces, or we use dict function. So here, very simple, straightforward example. Place a sequence of key colon value pairs within curly braces separated by comma. The keys must be unique, and keys are immutable. So you cannot change. If you have a key A and some value, you can change the value corresponding with A, but you cannot change A to something else, A to B, or A to something different than A. Key is immutable, and keys are unique and case sensitive. Values can be multiple. You can have two different keys with the same value, but a given key is unique. You cannot use the same key again in the dictionary. Okay. All right. So let's create a dictionary here. So D1. Okay. This is just my name. Okay. I just created with that name, and you see I have curly braces left and the right. Then A is the key. So to the left of the colon, what you have is the key. Remember, the key can be any object. It cannot be a list, because list is mutable. It has to be an immutable object. It can be a string. It can be a numeric value. So once you use a numeric value as a key, you cannot change that numeric value, because keys are immutable. And then colon, an object. This object can be anything. It can be another dictionary too. It can be a list. It can be a tuple. It can be a set. It can be a string like this, or it can be a value, floating point or integer or anything like that. So in this dictionary, we have two elements. The first element, key, is A, string A, and the value associated with that key is some value. And the second element, the key is the string B, okay, one letter string, okay, and the value associated with that key is a list. And it has, that list has inside it 4 elements, but it is just, as far as this key is concerned, that's just one value, and that value is a list. Okay, so let's run that. Creating dictionary using 2 curly braces is what we just saw. Creating dictionary using dict. So here is where, suppose we want to take these 2 elements and then use a dict. So same thing, okay, but instead of using directly the curly braces, because curly braces, then Python understands that what you want is a dictionary and it converts it into a dictionary, or you can use a dict function. If you use a dict function, then you don't use curly braces, because dict is a function. The functions must go within left and the right parentheses. So dict, so you have the 2 parentheses, then you have the key, and then the value associated with key. And now you don't use colon, you use equal to. A equal to the value corresponding with A, and B equal to the value corresponding with B, and that creates a dictionary. And once again, that dictionary, it automatically puts the curly braces around it. Okay, so you get the same thing. Okay, the same thing in a different way. We got it using a dict function. Okay, so far. Now, suppose we have 2 lists or 2 collection of items, and you want to take one item from the first collection, make that into a key, and then the corresponding item in second collection, you want to make that into the value. Okay, this is what we often do when we create dictionaries. We have a collection of items, and corresponding with that collection of items, a second collection of items. We want to use the first collection as key, the second collection as value, but you want to pair them. Okay. Now, okay, so here we have 2 collections. So you have a k, that's a tuple, and that has 4 items in it. Okay, and then we have v, and that's a list, and that has 4 items in it. So what we want, our objective is to take each pair and make the value coming from k as the key and the value coming from v as the value corresponding with that key. So the dictionary that we are looking for should have 4 elements, right? Okay, for each, the 4 elements will have A, B, C, and D as the keys, 4 keys, and for each of those 4 keys, the value will be 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now the problem is, if you use curly braces in this way, so K colon V, right? K is supposed to be the key, and V is supposed to be the value, and since the keys and key, the only requirement is key is immutable. It can be anything. It can be a single scalar, or it can be a tuple, and so on. So if you use this kind of code, then what will happen is it will take the entire K, the whole tuple, as the key. And then it will take the entire V as the corresponding value. This dictionary will have only one element, the key being the tuple K and the corresponding value being the list V. So that's what you see right here. So there is only one element. This whole thing is the key, and then that whole thing is the value. That's not what we wanted. We wanted these to be paired, and that's where we use zip. Okay. What zip does is zip pairs them up. Okay. And then you use the zipped object in the dict function, then you will have, so we have key val zip. So you use the zip function, K and V is zipped up, and then dict, you use the dict function of that zipped object. So you'll take the, when you're zipping two collections, the values coming from the first collection is used as the key. The values coming from the second collection are used as the value. And since they are zipped up, and zipping, remember, we looked at zip last week, where it takes pairs, or it can be not just pairs, it can be several collections. Each zipped item can be a collection of many items coming from many different collections. But in this case, there are only two, so you will have those pairs. Okay? So you can create dictionary by specifying the element, the keys and the values within braces, or you can use the dict function. When you use dict function, you don't use curly braces anymore. You use the regular left and right parentheses, but when you use curly braces, key and value are separated by colon. If you use dict function, the syntax is key equal to value, not a colon. Okay, colon, once you put the dict function, you put that colon there for you. Okay? And if you have collection of two collections and you want the pairs to be dictionary, then you have to zip it first, zip the two collections first, and then you create a dictionary with the dict function.